Goddamn. Goddamn.
Oh.
Gelong next to Donna.
Sample my STEEZ know what's going on. Yes, Lord.
Then bring y'all a post-game review. This time it was Gelong Cats versus Port Adelaide Power
At GMHBA.
All right, so coming into this game for me, I tipped Gelong. I think it was easy to tip Gelong. They've been a great team this year. It was at home. Port has injuries. And despite all that, this is the game we have.
I'm in the same boat as you, man. Gelong. I mean, they just recently took a L or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Gelong is Gelong, and they've been dominant for a lot of the season, bro. So, like, you're pretty much what you were saying. Like, Port got injuries as well, looming over them. And, I didn't think they really had a shot in this game with the game being in GMHBA just off that alone.
Yeah, so first quarter, so y'all gonna see the score, and it looks like it was a close game, but the first quarter, Port came out swinging. I think they scored 50 points that first quarter. I'll start by saying that Port did. Gelong, they had a tough start. I think it was like, I don't know. It was very. Matter of fact, this whole game was very reminiscent of last night's game between Carlton and Melbourne.
Yes.
But Port was definitely in the driver's seat for most of the game.
Yes.
And it became quite the ripper towards the end, but we'll get there.
So the first quarter, I feel exactly the same way you feel about it being reminiscent of the Carlton Melbourne game. I will say I think in the first quarter it was just a little different in the sense that I think it was definitely more of a Carlton game, Carlton first quarter than it was in Melbourne. But this quarter was definitely Port, but I think Cats had a little bit more fight than Melbourne did in the first quarter against us.
Yeah, for sure.
The Cats conceded the first 5, I think, inside 50s. So the defense was under a bit of pressure for sure. And then the Cats were able to just get the next 3 inside 50s or whatever. So it was kind of, it was bad, but the Cats were really just able to get much reward for theirs. And the Power have, all season they've been looking great, and they've been leaving points. And I feel like I say this every week. They leave the points on the board, and in this first quarter they weren't really doing that. So they looked good in the sense of that. In the second quarter, it was even more so Port. Rioli got going. You see Rioli goes. Darcy Bird-Jones had a goal. And Gelong just didn't – they weren't looking like themselves, bro. The defense wasn't as great as you usually see. Tom Stewart didn't look as great as he usually did, as he usually does most of the season. And they were really getting into him. You seen the physicality that they brought to him. You see when he got into it with Brown and he threw him down. And, they really were just making sure they got a lot of body work into him and wanted to take him off his game. And it looked like it was working for sure in the first half.
I do want to point out so it ain't gonna get replayed a lot because it wasn't a goal, but Willie Rioli did have a crazy little attempt at a goal that
Deep in the pocket.
Yeah, deep. Like the angle didn't even look possible, and he was running with momentum, like out of bounds, and he still got a nice little kickoff and
Left foot.
On the off foot. And it would have been a goal, but there was a defender there that had to lay out tackle in front of it just to stop it. So, Willie, speaking of him, he had, I think he finished with 4 goals this game. He just had a great game, just very impactful game. Even though he gave up 100, 250s if you don't mind getting into it.
Big moments.
It definitely was a moment that kind of shifted the tides in Gelong's favor, and
The second half.
put a little flame to their run. But yeah, the second half it was definitely it was like Port kind of let off the gas in Gelong. You know, they wanted to put on a show for their fans, and then they was trying to make it happen.
Right from the beginning of the third quarter, just
Yeah,
kind of said like they got a message, bro, and they wanted to let it be clear that they wasn't about to lay down.
halftime was definitely needed when it came time because they did seem like themselves almost coming out in the second. They was down by I think almost 40, and they fought back all second half and made it a very close game.
Yeah. Third quarter, I think, really mainly in the third quarter. I want to say I think they said they beat Port by 18 contested possessions, and so it was definitely an effort standpoint, and was kind of a hard mindset of not to get bullied, and we're not going out like this at home. Especially we're at home right now, bro. So I know that they didn't want to just, and they have such such a reputation here at GMHBA, so I know that they weren't about to stand for that. And I think they dominated pretty much most of the third quarter. I think there was a little stretch where Port kind of fought back a little bit too, but it was mostly Gelong. And then the fourth quarter, it was just Gelong still at it, bro. And they were so close to coming back in this game, bro. And just big mistakes. Well, Port couldn't, where it wasn't accurate when it mattered, bro. They weren't able to get shit done. But to be fair to them too, they did have a couple more injuries, which is not what they want to hear. You see, I forget who was it messing with their knee. It's Georgiadis looked a little rusty out there. Looked a little hurt. Zach Butters was holding his leg a little bit. So injury bug over there in Port that you want to be worried about. But Gelong, they deserve to come back, but just came up short.
Yeah, they just gave up too much early in the game. But I don't think I believe in these home court advantages anymore.
Not as much.
Because Brisbane lost their shit. Well, West Coast, we lost our shit. Ben lost our shit a few years ago. But Brisbane, they're not guaranteed at home this year. Gelong's not guaranteed at home. So far, it's just Sydney holding it down.
Adelaide over now for a Port. No.
Honestly, I can't remember. Did they lose at home? What? Who has one
this year? I can't say for sure.
I don't know for sure. Yeah. I know they more dangerous. I don't think they unbeatable at home though.
No, I don't think they're unbeatable. But when Port's playing good, they're just on fire, bro. And matter of fact, they did have some. Okay, so matter of fact, I just remembered the other person who was holding their knee was Jason Horn-Francis. He took a tough little knee-to-knee contact.
Knee knocked him.
But now Port was pretty much giving this game away though. 2 late kicks out on the full, bro, unnecessarily. And they gave Gelong the opportunity, and Gelong really was down 6, and had a nice kick inside 50 and took the mark. But no, did they take the mark? What happened when they went inside 50?
Out the first.
The first on the full kick.
Nah, he just missed the mark.
He just missed the mark, and that could have made a huge difference there. And they ended up just getting the 1 out of that, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second time, they just couldn't get the mark. They just couldn't. They couldn't lock it in their forward half and able to get a goal out of that.
Yeah, that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, ripper of a game. I'm having faith in comebacks more a little bit.
Shit is crazy. Hey, y'all like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit, man. We do be live, so tune in anytime. Hell yeah, catch y'all.
Hey, catch y'all. Watch out.
Back to the screen.